Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Glad to be here.
All right. So have you ever seen a horseshoe crab?
Yeah, up close and personal.
I mean, they're pretty strange looking, right?
Definitely unique.
Yeah, kind of like a living fossil.
That's exactly what they are.
Okay, so for this deep dive, we're going to be checking out these ancient creatures. We found this awesome YouTube video called 10 Incredible Horseshoe Crab Facts.
It's a great one.
And I gotta say, I thought I knew, a bit about crabs.
Mm-hmm.
But horseshoe crabs, I mean, they're really in a league of their own.
Absolutely.
Okay. So are you ready to jump in?
I am. Let's do it.
All right. Let's talk about just how ancient these creatures really are. I mean, when we say living fossil, we really mean it, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're talking about a lineage that goes back 445 million years.
Wow.
So that's older than the dinosaurs.
Way older. I mean, dinosaurs like what, 60, 70 million years ago?
Yeah, something like that. But horseshoe crabs, they were already around and thriving.
It's mind-boggling. 445 million years.
Yeah.
It boggles the mind. Like, what did these creatures see?
I mean, they've seen pretty much everything: ice ages, warming periods, continents shifting.
Volcanoes erupting?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They even survived multiple mass extinctions.
Including the one that wiped out the dinosaurs, right?
Yeah, the big one.
So they're survivors.
Hmm.
And speaking of incredible, okay, they're blood dot blue.
It's true.
Blue blood. I mean, how is that even possible?
It all boils down to a protein they have in their blood called hemocyanin.
Hemocyanin.
Hemocyanin. And unlike our hemoglobin, which uses, iron to carry oxygen.
Yep, makes our blood red.
Exactly. Well, hemocyanin, it uses copper.
Copper. Okay, that makes sense now.
And so when it binds with oxygen, it gives their blood that really striking blue color.
I mean, it's not just pretty to look at, though, right? I mean, their blood, it actually plays a huge role in medicine, right? Huge, huge.
One of the most important things is that it contains an enzyme called LAL.
LAL.
LAL, yeah. And this enzyme, it's incredibly sensitive to bacteria. Like even the tiniest amount of bacterial contamination.
Oh, wow.
It will cause this enzyme to clot, like immediately.
So they actually use horseshoe crab blood to test for contamination, like in medicines, right?
Absolutely. Vaccines, injectable drugs, anything that could be contaminated with bacteria.
I mean, that's amazing.
It's a really important safety measure.
I bet millions of lives have been saved
I think that's a safe bet.
because of this amazing little creature.
Yeah, pretty remarkable.
Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about legs. 10 legs.
A lot of legs.
A lot of legs. I mean, what do they do with all those legs?
Well, they're not just for, showing off.
I guess not.
Each pair actually has a specific purpose.
Uh-huh.
So 5 pairs are used for walking, like you'd expect.
Okay.
But then there's one very, very special pair called chelicerae.
Chelicerae.
Chelicerae, yeah.
That's a new word for me.
They're basically these appendages near the mouth, and the horseshoe crab uses them for grabbing food.
Oh, like little pincers.
Kind of, yeah. But they also help move the food towards the mouth.
Okay, so if they don't have jaws, how do they eat? Do they just kind of like?
It's a bit more hands-on than that.
Yeah, so
They crush their food. So think worms, clams, algae.
Oh, okay.
They crush it all between their legs.
Between their legs. Okay, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to dine.
All right, so let's talk about the babies. I mean, they're adorable, right? Those tiny little horseshoe crabs.
They are pretty cute. They look like miniature versions of the adults, but see-through.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of translucent.
So how does that work?
Well, the females, they lay these clusters of eggs, and they can lay thousands of eggs at a time. Yeah. And these eggs, they're tiny, like smaller than a pencil eraser.
Oh, wow.
And when they hatch those baby horseshoe crabs, they emerge as these tiny translucent creatures.
And they kind of look like little trilobites.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Now I've heard that that Delaware Bay is kind of like horseshoe crab central, right? Like for breeding.
Oh yeah, it's famous for it.
I mean, what's that like?
It's a pretty incredible sight, like especially during high tides, and around the full moon and new moon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Thousands, tens of thousands of horseshoe crabs gather on the beaches. They're all there to breed.
So it's like a big horseshoe crab party.
Pretty much. It's a spectacle orchestrated by nature. Really amazing to see.
All right. So these little baby horseshoe crabs,
Hmm.
they're not they don't stay tiny forever, obviously.
No, they have to grow up sometime.
So how do they grow? I mean, with that hard shell,
Well, they molt.
they molt.
Yeah, just like like lobsters and other arthropods.
Okay.
They shed their old shell to make room for a new, bigger one. It's a pretty amazing process.
So do they molt like a lot?
Well, as they're growing, they molt pretty frequently.
Okay.
But as they get older, it happens less often.
So when they're really young and they're still transparent like that,
Right.
they must be like super vulnerable, right?
They are. That's why, those sheltered habitats are so important for them.
Like the Delaware Bay, you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. It gives them a safe place to grow up.
Okay. Now, it's not just the baby horseshoe crabs that need protection, right?
That's right.
I mean, those eggs, they're a really important food source for other animals, right?
Super important, especially for migratory shorebirds. They rely on those eggs for energy.
Oh, wow. So are you talking about birds like the red knot?
The red nut, yeah, they make this incredible journey every year,
From where? From like South America?
all the way from the tip of South America up to the Arctic, and it's a 9,300-mile journey, one way.
Wow. 9,300 miles. That's insane.
It is, and they stop over in Delaware Bay to fuel up on those horseshoe crab eggs.
So without those eggs, the birds, they wouldn't be able to make that journey.
Not a chance. They need that energy boost.
That's incredible. I mean, it
Yeah.
really shows you like how interconnected everything is.
It does, yeah.
All right. So we talked about this a little bit earlier, but horseshoe crabs, they're not actually crabs, right?
That's right. They're more closely related to.
I mean, because they look kind of like crabs,
Yeah, they do have that crabby look about them,
but they're not.
but they're not.
So what are they related to?
They're actually more closely related to arachnids.
Arachnids, like spiders.
Spiders, scorpions. That's their family.
Okay, that makes more sense now.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, that tail.
Oh yeah, that tail.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary looking, right?
It can look a little intimidating, but it's not actually a weapon.
Oh, it's not. So what's it for?
Well, it's called a telson, and it's really useful for a couple of things.
Okay, like what?
So if a horseshoe crab gets flipped over, by the waves or something,
Uh-huh.
it can use that telson to right itself. Like it can flip itself back over.
Oh, that's smart.
It's pretty clever.
Yeah.
And it also acts as a kind of rudder, when they're swimming upside down.
Upside down.
They do that
They
sometimes.
swim upside down.
Yeah, it's pretty funny to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, the telson helps them steer.
Okay, so it's basically like a multi-tool.
Exactly.
All right, I got to ask you about this one. They glow under UV light, right?
They do. It's
I mean,
horrible.
how is that even possible?
Well, it's called fluorescence. And honestly, scientists they're not entirely sure why horseshoe crabs do it.
Oh, so it's still a mystery.
A bit of a mystery.
And it just makes them all the more fascinating, right?
It does.
Horseshoe crabs, they're amazing.
Ancient survivors.
Ecological heroes.
Medical marvels.
I mean, who knew, right? So there you have it, our deep dive into the world of horseshoe crabs.
Hopefully we've convinced you that these creatures are more than meets the eye.
Definitely. Way more. And I think the big takeaway here is like how much we still don't know about them.
That's true. There's still so much to learn about these ancient creatures.
So maybe they hold the key to some future medical breakthrough,
Who knows what secrets they're hiding.
Right. So until next time, keep on exploring, and thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.